Okay, the next thing to do is to install the pinion on the clutch and assemble the clutch stack. So what you'll need is the 17-tooth pinion supplied with the kit. There's an M3 bolt as well, standard HPI clutch for bar jar buggy, and you'll need the bearing blocks from a 700E helicopter. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to get the orientation correct. So you'll notice these bearing blocks are flush on one side and a little bit recessed on the other. What we want is that recess facing down. Okay, so put that bearing block on the clutch. Now, to install the pinion, this pinion just drops on top of there. Make sure that's seated all the way down, because the pinion actually clamps on the inner race of this bearing. Now we can install the bolt that holds the pinion to the clutch. So that goes through the hole inside the clutch belt, and slide that down. Okay, so that's held in place now. Now the top bearing block actually goes on a specific way as well. So what we need to do is make sure the flush face of this bearing block goes down onto the pinion. Okay, so that completes the clutch stack and pinion assembly. Now we're going to assemble the base plate to the skids, and I'm just going to talk about orientation. So I like to put my skids sort of facing backwards. This is the front of the helicopter, the skids here. I like them to angle backwards. It gives me better balance with the gasser, and I think it looks better. So this base plate, there's a little cutout on the inside for the kill switch, or where the stator gator goes. That needs to be on the front on this side of the helicopter, so on the right hand side of the helicopter. And the corresponding cutout for the standard can muffler is on the other side. So make sure you get it the right way. You can have it that way, but that won't work. Okay, so what we do now is we'll install these frame blocks through the plate, through to the skids, and then we'll move on to our next step. Now that we've got that done, we're going to install the motor onto this base plate. So to do that, you'll need your motor, and you'll need to remove the 4 M5 cap bolts. So we'll go ahead and do that. The other thing you might want to consider doing now as well, if you're going to be using a stator gator, is to remove your kill switch and install the stator gator and position it in place now, because it'll make it a lot easier. So with all those removed, and now plonk it on top. Okay, so the spark plug, it goes towards the front. Just plonk it in there. Okay, and we'll just flip it over and put the bolts in. That's it. Now you're ready for the next step.